What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause volatility in the stock price, and where I see things going. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, it is a shorter week. So the market is closed on Monday. So the market's going to be digesting a lot of stuff for Tuesday's open. One is ADP, so the weekly. Last time it did come in at 11.7, so the market kind of saw that as a positive. In fact, this whole week, which I'll go over a lot of the key data points, but the market will take them for face value. So if they come in positive, we'll move higher. If they come in negative, then of course we'll move lower because of that. And the reasoning is the market already decided that we're not going to get a January 28th cut. And right now, a lot of this data is too early to start moving the March 18th meeting. So the decision for that. So right now we can actually move based on how the data does come out, which is rather odd to be normal, but this is something I've kind of complained about in the past. One thing that is going to be digested on Tuesday is this right here. So it looks like Greenland is a hot topic over the weekend. Trump did place a 10% tariff on Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, UK, Netherlands, and Finland, kicking in February the 1st. And I believe it's supposed to go to 25% in June if things don't really rectify or kind of come to some agreement or something. So at the end of the day, this kind of gives April 2025 type of vibes. This EU did already mention that they're going to be potentially suspending trade deals. I saw a lot of different articles coming out saying pretty much the same thing, but this kind of shows that there's going to be a certain level of fear. Jim Cramer is already come out and said that we're going to have a very red weekend for us to sell. So I don't know if that's inverse, maybe a very good positive, but nonetheless, this is definitely going to cause some volatility. And most likely this is also why we did see a little bit of a sell-off on Friday. As I mentioned even on my Friday video, that there is going to be some level of hesitation, only because of a lot of the geopolitical issues. One is Iran, second being Greenland. Over a long weekend, there's a lot of things that could happen, and turns out that was kind of the right mentality. So nonetheless, that's something just to be aware of. As far as companies unveiling their earnings, we do have a lot of big things as well, even on Tuesday. So we have Netflix Tuesday after hours, and then Thursday after hours is going to be Intel. Those are going to be kind of the hot ones in my opinion. But going back to some of the data, Wednesday we have mortgage applications, mortgage market index. Last time, the last report was on point. So again, if similarly there's that good growth, then the market might really move higher because of that. Aside from that, Thursday is going to be the big day for data because we have GDP, initial jobless claims, and also PCE. And then on Friday, we have a lot of flash data, so composite manufacturing services. Anything above 50 shows more of an expansion, except this time around, the market's going to be comparing it to the previous. So current forecast for composite is 52.8, previous was 52.7. Manufacturing 52, 51.8 was previous, and then services 52.3 and then 52.5. The last couple data points for manufacturing have been massive, so it is fair to assume that this one will really go a lot higher than that 52. But aside from the flash data, we also have Michigan consumer sentiment. So this week is a very big week, and yes, technically for Tuesday it kind of looks a little bit bearish based on, again, Greenland and so forth, but we could really have a nice recovery with a lot of these key data points, especially on Thursday and Friday. Aside from that though, this is what Lucid has on their website for upcoming events. So between January the 23rd and February the 1st, there is going to be that DC Auto Show. So yeah, nothing really crazy. They have participated in a lot of these auto shows, and they just do a couple of PRs and posts on social media. That's pretty much it. Nothing really planned for Lucid, so no press releases, no fireside chats or anything that is kind of expected. They might try to do some damage control, I would assume. I know the last couple of videos I've done on Lucid, there's been some drama for the most part, and some misinformation and whatever else. So maybe Lucid might do some type of like chat or just like a official PR just to clear the air. I feel like that would be the right thing to do, but what do I know in life? Aside from that, going into this upcoming week, 36.15% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 47.12 million shares. So we are going into this upcoming week with a all-time high short interest. So crazy stuff as per usual. DTC 5.81 days. So it does signal that shorts are fairly overextended. And short score is 83.09. Looking at the options, you see the bulls kind of believing that 1050 to 11 is on the table. Then the bears are anticipating for it to be pretty much sub 10. And as I've mentioned, anything below 10. So if, for instance, if it closes anywhere around the $9 range, there might be some just big psychological freak out that does happen that might cause a lot of people just to exit. So again, it might potentially escalate the downtrend a little bit. Aside from all of that though, with it closing on Friday at 10:12, looking at the 1-day chart, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 1031 is going to be that next strong kind of target slash resistance, and that definitely does need to be hit either early on in the week, either the Tuesday or the Wednesday. If not, then you can kind of anticipate the 941 to be most likely hit, and that's the next strong support, which pre-split, that is crazy that we would be below now $1. So yeah, Lucid really does need to get institutions to buy, because I don't think retail for the most part is tapped out. It's either the negative sentiment is deterring a lot of retail to get in, or retail just doesn't have enough money, and institutions seem to not want to touch Lucid right now. So Lucid definitely does need to put out something fast, in my opinion. Aside from all that, on the actual chart itself, aside from one or two people posting on Twitter saying that this is kind of primed for a nice reversal, I don't see that. It's below all the key pivotal moving averages. So the 10, 50, 100, 200 is below all of them, and it has been pretty much below all of them since like October the 15th for the most part. Stochastic RSI is at 25, so a little bit oversold. So the good thing about that is if Lucid does put out some good PR, then you might see some value investors and a nice push higher due to algorithmic trading. But moral of the story is Lucid needs to put something out. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Are you buying? Are you selling? Like, what are you doing with Lucid? I myself, I do believe that Lucid will be hitting kind of the mid 9s. Might not be this week, but over the next 2 weeks, on which it might kind of bounce. And so I think in the short term, 950 might be that kind of good entry point. And then you might have some level of small FOMO leading into their earnings. Because of course, any stock hit as much as this, there is going to be a certain level of just expectations that they have something in the works behind the scenes, some partnership. And Mark technically did mention that in a fireside chat before all this crap and this gossip started to really take hold of the sentiment. Mark did mention that there is something big coming for their investor day, or I think it's tech day or whatever they're doing, and also their earnings. So there might be a big announcement coming, so you might see a little bit of FOMO, but at least in the short term, I think that there might be a little bit more blood. So let me know your viewpoint on Lucid. Are you buying? Are you selling? What are you doing with Lucid? And then hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend. If you're looking for some solid buy signals though, pop over to my Patreon. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.